Good afternoon. First, to observe, Attorney General Barr appears to have shown an unsettling willingness to undermine his own department in order to protect President Trump. Barr's words and actions suggest he has been disingenuous and misleading in saying the president is clear of wrongdoing. Attorney General Barr's letter summarizing the report from March 24th quoted the special counsel report, quote, "While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him."
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we're going to look at the latest new Q posts, as certain individuals are very, very nervous as we watch the media try to play semantics with the findings of the Mueller report, which clearly exonerate the president. We have new Q posts that tell us all about what to expect and what is to come. You guys are going to want to stick around and check that out. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I always like to begin by saying thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, please come here, landing page, click the big red subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you know you'll get notified when these videos get posted. And don't forget to scroll down and hit that like button. It's a little thumbs up if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. So today, guys, we have two brand new Q posts coming right on the heels of the release of the Mueller report, which has clearly and finally definitively shown that President Trump is not guilty of any type of collusion with the Russians. But before we get into these latest posts, plus everything else, I want to always tell everybody, I always remind everyone to come back here, watch these last few videos if you want to get caught up on the latest Q posts. Also, don't forget, if you guys are scratching and going, what is QAnon? What's this guy talking about? And you're new to this, that's fine. You can come here to the landing page, watch this video, what is QAnon and the Great Awakening, and that should get you pretty much caught up on what it is, how to get involved, where to find the information, how to do the research, all that stuff. So you guys should go check that out. So we left off last at Q Post 3312, and we're picking up today at Q Post 3313, and we're going to move forward from there. So first we get this picture. Well, what is this picture? Well, a lot of Anons found this one out pretty darn quick. So what this picture is, this is a picture of a part of California, in Southern California, called Seal Beach. Now, what is Seal Beach? It is a city in the Orange County, California, and it's basically home to military bases there. And I believe this is, I'm not sure, I think this is where the SEALs actually train, but I could be wrong. They could train another beach. But this is very interesting. Now, what is the importance of this? Well, let's read what Q gives us. First, Q gives us this Sarah Carter article and says first and 10 on the 40 Q. So obviously, if you guys don't know the sports reference there, it's football. First and 10 on the 40 means that you're in your opponent's territory and you're driving toward a touchdown and you're basically in scoring range. That is what that's basically referring to. It's a reference to the fact that now we're taking it we're on the offensive and we're in their territory now. So if you break that down, it's pretty simple. It's just talking about Sarah Carter. But what about Seal Beach? First of all, about 20 different things you could say about Seal Beach right now, but I'm going to list a few. First of all, Seal Beach, unsealed the indictments. Could that be a reference? Not sure. Seal Beach is also the subject of this article, which was published not too long ago on April 12th of this year. It talks about border wall funding looking like it won't divert $310 million from Southern California military construction. So right now it's talking about the Navy, who is proposing major additions to its operations at Anaheim Bay in Seal Beach, pictured here, that there was a concern they were going to basically divert $310 million that was meant to create an 1,100-foot long pier extending toward the ocean, a causeway, a new breaker, and a new channel dedicated to public boating. So they were worried that was going to happen, and it didn't. So you can read through this article where it just talks about the fact that Seal Beach was kind of saved from this kind of removal of funds. And I got to say that this is really interesting to show what President Trump might be pointing us to, or Q might be pointing us to, is the fact that there is an expansion, construction expansion at this base. And just like they were doing at Guantanamo Bay, I wonder why and what they're getting ready for. But it's always good to see money being put back into basically constructing the headquarters and facilities for the individuals that keep us safe. That to me is not a bad thing. But the other thing I thought was interesting is that the actual name of this is LPB. And it says lpb.png. That's the name of this file photo. And one thing I did look up that was kind of interesting was the Piper LPB. And if you don't know what that is, it was developed during World War II, and it is basically a glide bomb, or a glom, which I think is kind of a funny name as they put it here. And it was developed by Piper Aircraft in the United States Navy during World War II. And I just thought it was kind of interesting to think of what we're doing here is kind of like the glide bomb. We're just guiding the information in, and slowly but surely it will reach its destination. And here today was one example of definitely hitting the target with the Mueller report, exonerating President Trump and vindicating everyone here on the boards and what we've been doing for the last, I don't know, over a year in doing the research on exposing this incredible corruption and conspiracy against our president as what they would basically term a soft coup. So back to the post here, we'll look at twitter.com from Sarah Carter, where she puts up this. She quotes saying, latest, Mueller's report ends witch hunt, but what's about to unfold is the real story. Sarah Carter, quote, what will unfold is investigation historians will consider one of the greatest political witch hunts in U.S. history. And that's from President Trump there. Wow. It is, and it will be. And we've been the ones covering it here from day one, doing the investigating, doing the researching. And that's, kudos to everyone out there who's been doing this and following the real news, as opposed to what you get when you turn on your TV and watch pretty much any network. Here's the Sarah Carter article. It talks about Mueller's report ends witch hunt, but what's about to unfold is the real story. So that's why I'm saying this is definitely the end of the beginning right now. And that's just to steal the term from the left, which tried to use this when the first report was put out by Attorney General Barr, where he said that there was no evidence of collusion. They were like, this is just the end of the beginning. Well, guess what, guys? It is the end of the beginning. The Mueller report was the end of the beginning, and now here comes the pain. So what's this going to talk about? It talks about a lot of stuff. It basically, the first few paragraphs are just talking about how we should celebrate and how, we were right all along and all that stuff. If you want to read that, you can. But I'll just start reading it from here, where it goes through exactly what we're talking about here. And I think this sums it up perfectly, and Sarah Carter does a wonderful job of this. It says, just remember it was Hillary Clinton and the DNC that paid for former British spy Christopher Steele's anti-Trump dossier through their attorneys Perkins Coie. It was the embattled research firm Fusion GPS with its founder Glenn Simpson that helped spread the dossier and its unsubstantiated and false findings all over Washington, D.C. They did so with help from senior officials at the FBI and the DOJ. When Simpson and his crew couldn't get it published, they used their contacts at the FBI to leak to information to the media with them. They also had their anti-Trump friends in high positions of power within the Obama administration, like the CIA Director John Brennan, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, FBI Director James Comey, and his then Deputy Director to the FBI, Andrew McCabe, to brief the most salacious parts of the dossier to Trump in 2017, in January. It was the best way to get the disinformation out regarding the dossier to the world. All of a sudden, Trump was being cornered and isolated. More importantly, early on, they targeted Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. They knew they had to remove Flynn, remove him from Trump's side. After all, he knows where all the bodies are buried, and he was sick and tired of the Obama administration's lies to the American people. You guys remember this? Who knows where all the bodies are buried? It was Flynn. Guys, this is all coming together, said one former intelligence source who worked closely with Flynn. I wonder who that source was. Mueller's report will keep the left busy the next few days. It lists, as Barr noted, 10 possible circumstances that could appear to be obstruction, but were not considered obstruction by the DOJ. Barr said Trump never broke any laws. Yeah, I have to stop. This is the funny part right here. Where they talk, like, what's the media doing now? Now they're arguing semantics. Now they're saying, but President Trump wanted to fire Mueller and his staffer said he would resign and didn't let him. And then they're going to say, what? That's obstruction, that he wanted to fire the guy who's trying to frame him? I mean, literally, these people are insane. They're arguing semantics over stuff that doesn't even make any sense anymore. But moving forward, think about it. Trump was being accused of being a spy for Russia. It was a daily compounded disinformation campaign by senior members of a former administration leaking lies, half-truths, and malicious rumors about Trump. Those who aided the lies were MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, McClatchy News, the Washington Post, and many more, who all had stories that the U.S. president was compromised by Russia and worked with Russians against the American people. It says, I can't imagine not being frustrated. The list of allegations that Mueller references in his report were nothing more than an extremely frustrated president who was being accused of the worst crime in U.S. history. Some of it is embarrassing. However, none of Trump's actions constituted breaking the law, as Barr noted. How can you be accused of obstruction of a crime you never committed? However, how can you not be appalled at the lies being directed at you, your family, your coworkers, and those who support you when you know for a fact that is all they are, lies? She goes on to say, America needs to heal first and foremost. But in order to heal, the American justice system that is revered around the world must act swiftly and with strength to hold those accountable for these actions and bring those who broke the law to justice. Transparency and justice is the only way we can regain the trust in the institutions that make our great nation the envy of those around the world. Great report by Sarah Carter. You guys should definitely read it. I'll leave a link in the description. But I think everything that we went over here is spot on. It's 100% spot on, and it's just something that you look at and you think to yourself, wow, this is where we have come to. And with that being said, here is the next one. Mueller blockade end. Fake investigations by committee members will not delay what is about to be unleashed. Q. Yeah, you guys, it's coming. Mark my words, it's coming. Okay? We're in the middle of it. And now you can go over here and you can see what CNN, this is the CNN.com, their head page today. The big headline was, Trump tried to remove Mueller. His aides refused to carry out orders. Here are the latest highlights. It's like, okay. And he tried to, he didn't. So he didn't obstruct anything. And the reality is, would you not, as president, want to fire the person who's running an investigation into your whole background in life and basically accusing you of, through the investigation, of being a Russian spy? One of the worst things, a treasonous act that's punishable by death. You wouldn't be a little bit upset and maybe want to fire that individual? Especially when you know that his whole investigation was predicated off of basically a fake dossier that was made by the person that you beat to get into office? No? Anyone? Does anybody at CNN ever even think before they write a headline, or is there just like some guy in a dark room just with a typewriter going, with CNN and MSNBC on TVs in front of him on a loop, just like brainwashed out of his mind, writing these things? Because it is like a funny thing. When you look at the headlines that they put up, it just shows that there's nothing there. I think that the headline should read on CNN something to the effect of, a major news corporation gets the biggest story of our generation completely wrong, and here's the proof. See, I could write headlines for CNN. Hey, are you hiring? I'm ready. Let's do it. But on a more serious note, when you look at that and you couple it like with what we were looking at the beginning of this video, which was Jerry Nadler, and he has a press conference right after where he goes through all of the ways that Attorney General Barr is just completely complicit and is basically, you know what I'm asking myself now? Do they want to have another special counsel into Attorney General Barr because is he a Russian too? Is this just a broad Russian conspiracy where everyone in government is involved? No, okay. But now they're going to tell us it's all about obstruction. Obstruction of what? There was no crime. He never committed a crime. How could he obstruct justice? There's no justice that was being served since day one of this investigation. The only thing that was served during this investigation from day one was injustice. So you can't, I think you're allowed to obstruct injustice, right? I think so. I'll have to check that. But let's watch a little bit more of this. We'll kind of start from the beginning where we started. And I want you guys to just watch this. And we're going to go through it kind of and talk about it. It's just crazy.
Attorney General Barr appears to have shown an unsettling willingness to undermine his own department in order to protect President Trump. Barr's words and actions suggest he has been disingenuous and misleading in saying the president is clear of wrongdoing. Attorney General Barr's letter summarizing the report from March 24th quoted the special counsel report, quote, "While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him." He ignored what is in the Mueller report just 2 sentences before, where the special counsel concluded that, quote, "If we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would state so. Based on the facts and the applicable legal standards, however, we are unable to reach that judgment." Obviously, this changes the emphasis and meaning of the paragraph, and obviously he didn't include the key sentences.
Do you talk about like grasping for straws here? Well, it's semantics. This is all semantics. Listen to this guy. Literally saying, well, when Attorney General Barr got up there, he didn't say, that there was a sentence there, and that Mueller wouldn't make a real pronouncement of guilt or innocence, and he's still a Russian agent. We need to get all his tax returns, and we should investigate everything he's ever done since he was a young child, because you never know, he could be a secret Russian agent still. Sorry, that's my best Jerry Nadler. And I'm not a guy who picks on people for appearance, because God bless us, we all have an interesting look to someone, right? But this guy, I don't even understand how he's a slobbily, is that a word, slobbily? He's like a slob. He's literally like a slob who puts on a suit every day and then like buckles it up around his chest, and then like his pants are up around his chest, and he just kind of waddles through the halls of Congress, making pronouncements and declarations of how President Trump's a Russian agent. I mean, it's sad. This is not representative of our country. This slob who's completely out of his mind with these wild insinuations of guilt against the president. This is not a representative of our country, but in my opinion, this doesn't represent our country. He may have been elected to represent our country, but this is not our country. Whoever's watching internationally, this is not us. All right, this guy is a part of a much broader conspiracy against the president, in my humble opinion, that's being orchestrated by or through the halls of Congress with many other individuals who are trying to cover up the fact that they've been caught red-handed weaponizing the intelligence community and the law enforcement agencies of our country against President Trump in the lead up to the 2016 election. And they used this investigation not only to go against the president of the United States and to enact what you would call basically a soft coup against him, but further, I'll say that this was put together in order to effectively steal and meddle in the 2018 election. Because I guarantee you would not have seen the kind of numbers for turnout, and you would not have seen that the Democrats win the House of Representatives had we concluded this before the actual election took place, and we had basically put the facts out there as they were at the time, where we're now having to investigate Robert Mueller to say, how long were you sitting on the fact that you knew President Trump was completely innocent? How long did you use your investigation as a blockade to use to go against our country? And so that to me is something I wanted to share. Let's listen to what little Jerry's got to say. Little Yeti. Let's hear the little Yeti.
Second, Special Counsel Mueller went on to say that, quote, "a thorough FBI investigation would uncover facts about the campaign and the president personally that the president could have understood to be crimes, or that would have risen to personal and political concerns," close quote. For some reason, Attorney General Barr excluded this critical finding as well from his version of events.
So far, what Jerry's saying, Little Yeti is saying. Little Yeti is telling us that Attorney General Barr didn't tell us that Robert Mueller said that he wasn't really sure after a 2-year investigation where he spent $30 million of taxpayer money to basically to go after a duly elected president and try to enact a soft coup, that he didn't say whether he completely could 100% say whether or not President Trump was guilty or innocent. And now little Yeti boy is telling us you have to focus on that. That is the most important part. Ignore everything in the report that completely exonerates the president and focus directly on the fact that there was no conclusion made in the affirmative about whether or not President Trump could or could not have been involved in some kind of obstruction of a crime that never happened. Thank you, little Yeti. Come on, continue, little Yeti.
The Attorney General's decision to withhold the full report from Congress is regrettable, but no longer surprising. Barr has so far refused to work with the committee to provide us with information, the kind of information that has been customarily provided in the past and to which the Judiciary Committee is entitled. These concerns and many others will be addressed when Barr testifies before the committee on May 2nd. Even in its incomplete form, however, the Mueller report, incomplete because part of it is redacted, even in its incomplete form, however, the Mueller report outlines disturbing evidence that President Trump engaged in obstruction of justice and other misconduct.
All right, I can't even take this anymore. This is what they're going to say. So President Trump obviously obstructed justice because he wanted to fire Robert Mueller. Oh, okay. And he tried to, and one of his aides stopped him. What's the crime there? And the other stuff, they're going to be like, oh, it's obstruction of justice for him to say all this stuff and to basically fire James Comey and all. It's like, come on. First of all, nobody's buying it anymore, Yeti. Yeti, please. I'm sorry, I can't help it. But nobody's buying this. Nobody's buying what you're selling. And the only people who are those people who have just, the 4 to 6% or whatever, that are just gone. That are the extremists that look at facts and logic and laugh and go, ha 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 ha, ha, my feelings. I feel like you're wrong. And you go, but factually you're incorrect. Ha 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 ha, no, you're very clever, but I feel like you're wrong. And you're like, okay, well, Jerry, you're going to lead those sheep astray, lead those cattle to the you-know-what. And look, this is exactly what the swamp, bureaucracy, deep state, this face right here is the perfect embodiment. His wobbly slob, character is this wobbly slob-like character is the embodiment of the swamp. Because if you look at it, there's no other way to interpret the findings of the Mueller report other than to spin it the way these individuals are. And they're trying to spin it to frame the president again, to continue their just unabashed attempt to steal power in our country and illegally weaponize our institutions against people who have done nothing wrong. And that's President Trump is the first example, but you go down the list and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So, yeah, some people should be nervous. And that's pretty much where we're going to leave this, although there is a lot more we're going to cover. And I have some very special programming coming up here on the channel that you guys are really going to want to stay tuned for. We may be breaking an incredible story about, I don't even want to say, but let's just say it has something to do with Benghazi, and you guys are going to want to stick around to find out what it is. But that's pretty much where we're going to leave it. I want to say thank you guys for watching. A few ways you can help out the channel. As always, come here, click the subscribe button. That helps out the channel big time. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. And also, don't forget to hit that like button. There's a little thumbs up at the bottom if you guys like this content and want to see more. Watch these videos, share them on your social media. And don't forget to leave your thoughts, theories, and insights down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about all this, what we're going through, and just to hear what your thoughts are. Really, it's a big deal, so you guys should go down and leave your thoughts down there. A few other ways to help out the channel. Come find me over here on Twitter at JustinFormU. You can get to have a conversation with me, see all my funny, clever tweets, and you guys can come interact with me over here on Twitter. That's a cool source for all of us, resource for all of us. Also, don't forget to come over here and check out the justinformednews.com. It's the official website for Just Informed Talk. You have all the different links to the Q research, how to get involved, links to different news outlets, different news stories breaking, and of course all the videos from the channel here as well. If you guys want to help out financially, there's a couple ways you can do it. You just come over here to Patreon, patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. There'll be a link in the description. You just click this button and become a patron. You guys are what keep this channel alive. I can't stress that enough. Without the people who are here, the patrons who are donating, and you guys who donate, there is no way I could do this. So I'm blessed and I'm thankful, and I want to work hard for you guys every single day, 24/7, 365. I will not stop because I'm here to expose the truth and to share the word of God, because that's what I've been called to do, and not in that order, I should say. I'm first called to share God's amazing grace, and then I'm called to do this as a reporter for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this and watch this stuff, and when you contribute, you know that you're helping keep this content going. And there's a GoFundMe set up if you guys want to donate over here. I appreciate it, and I'm very thankful. So before we go, we do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. So for today's segment, I'm going to read some scripture here out of the book of Romans, chapter 13, verses 11 and 12, and I want to share these with you because I think that they are good verses to live by. It's talking about putting on Christ. It says, "Besides this, knowing the time, it is already the hour for you to wake up from sleep. For now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. The night is nearly over and the daylight is near. So let us discard the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light." And that's what we're called to do, guys. We're called to put on the armor of light for God. And as we continue to expose this evil, as we continue to put our faith first in every way, put our lives to God, but also at the same time call out evil and expose it for what it is, this is basically, it's like the brightest sunlight that's waiting on the other side of the darkest night. And you guys may know I took that from a very popular song, but it's so true. It's like the brightest sunlight waiting on the other side of the darkest night. You guys have to believe that God is coming, and that these people who are evil are going to be put to justice, and that's in God's hands. For us, we can put our lives to God, we can share the word with one another, and that's what we are called to do, and that's what I think the message there is. So I want to say thank you guys for watching again. A few more things. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now's a great time to do it. If you hit the bell, that makes a difference, because then you'll get notified when these videos get posted. Also, the like button will let me know you guys want to see more of this content. So it's not that hard. It's just a little thumbs up button. You just got to click it. But other than that, I want to say thank you for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.